Good morning, my name is Denise. Today I'm interviewing Felix Jaimes.
Hello.
He is the founder of 44 Design. Okay, I'm just gonna hop right in. So tell me a little bit about yourself.
My name is Felix Jaimes. I'm the founder of 44 Design. I am a native Austinite, so born and raised here in Austin. Went to school kind of all over the place. After I graduated, I went to the Art Institute and I received my bachelor's degree there in graphic and web design. I'm also a local artist, and I usually paint murals around town with the painting crew that I'm with.
Now tell me about your childhood.
All right, my childhood. I went to two elementaries. I went to Brentwood Elementary for kindergarten, and then I got transferred over to Cook Elementary when we moved to our new house. I was basically there throughout the entire, my elementary life, I guess. Um, and then I went to Burnett Middle School, and then I transferred over to Maynard Middle School. I think one thing that remained consistent though throughout all this moving around is the fact that I always had a pen and paper on me, so I was always drawing something. If I was ever bored, I'd pull out my little notepad and my little pen or pencil, and I would just start drawing.
Who was the most influential person in your life?
So growing up, my my parents were really the most influential people in my life because since I was a child, they always owned their own businesses. So I kind of grew up with that same mentality, like working hard and just constantly, pushing forward and continue to, follow your passions. Right around high school, my parents split up, so my cousin kind of was my best friend at the time. So he really became, very important to me in my life. He basically, I don't want to say he was like my father figure, but he definitely, kept me in the right tracks. Obviously we'd go out and like go to parties and things like that, but he would never let it get out of hand. So I think a lot of where I'm at now, I did learn a lot from him.
What is your profession?
So I started off as a freelance designer when I graduated from the Art Institute in 2012. I did a lot of work for agencies at first, and then hop back to freelance designing. I was building a lot of websites mostly, but ultimately in 2014 is when I started 44 Design. Basically, we focus on doing the same thing: user experience design, user interface design, web design, and digital product design and development.
What made you choose that path?
Well, when I worked with a couple of agencies in town, I noticed that the design role that I usually play wasn't really, sort of like what I learned. I learned to work with a team and, work collaboratively. So, when I graduated and I started getting these jobs, I realized that I was usually the only designer in the team. And so there wasn't really much collaboration there. So I wanted to change that. I wanted to work as a team collaboratively and be able to bounce ideas off of one another. So I guess I decided to start my own business because of systems like that where other agencies just they didn't really, what's the word I'm looking for? They didn't really pay as much attention in design as I would like them to.
What was the happiest time of your life?
I feel like every year there's highlights to it, right? Like there's always highlights to happiest moments in my life, like milestones essentially. For example, when I graduated from college, that was probably the most exciting moment in my life at that time, right?
Tell me about a time when you didn't know if you would make it.
Well, funny enough, being a business owner, you feel like that basically anytime, all the time. You're always, as a business owner, you're always risking, that steady check. So you're always it's always in the back of your mind, like, am I gonna make it? Am I gonna get a paycheck next month? Are we gonna have, a longer contract eventually? So it's always actually something that I'm always thinking about, but always at the same time working towards.
What is your passion or favorite hobby?
Well, if obviously, I'm a creative person, so I grew up drawing my entire life. I always consider myself an artist. Currently, one of my, two of my, biggest passions are playing poker and also painting murals, specifically with spray paint.
What do you value most and why?
That's easy. Family and my wife.
There you go, sweet.
I value my family and my wife, the most, mainly because they're always there for support. They're always there for me. If I ever have any questions or anything like that, need help with anything, I can always look to them. Specifically, my wife, she keeps me on my toes. I can tell her about any problem I'm having, or kind of a dilemma that I'm having with a client, and whether she knows much about the client or the type of business I'm doing at the time with them, she's always giving me pretty solid advice on how to move forward with it.
Any advice for me in my career or future motivation?
Absolutely. Number one, never give up. Never quit. As tough as it may be, as hard as things may seem, it's kind of always gonna be like that. But just learning to never give up and just kind of work through. Just push through, and eventually, the you'll reap the rewards of that. It's a really really good feeling when you didn't give up, and you push through, and then you see that light at the end of the tunnel. That's probably the most achieving feeling that you can get. So definitely don't give up. Continue doing what you're doing, and have a passion for it. Love what you do.
I sure will. Thank you so much for your time, Felix.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.